All right.
Hey, this... Now? Okay, now we're stammering. Are we live?
Do
Just
it
give me a
live.
yes or no. We'll do it live! Fuck it! We'll do it live! Fucking thing sucks!
Alright, it caught you right when you started cursing. So, there you go.
Bitchin'! That is... Yeah, that is the best introduction. Fuck formalities! My name is Justin, that dude laughing is Vincent, and this is Fancy, the community manager for the Drunken Peasants.
Good to meet you. How are you guys doing tonight?
Pretty good. I'm pretty fucking hyped up now. I wasn't before, but
well,
now
when
I
you
got
start like that, you gotta be hyped.
Fuck you.
Blood's pumping as everybody else is winding down and getting ready to go to bed.
Yep.
Fuck that. I'm nocturnal by nature. I hate working mornings.
Well, so am I. I'm just all fucked up right now.
I miss when I went to sleep at 6 a.m.
Yeah, that's usually when I go to sleep. So.
Yeah, you fucking messaged me like 2 hours ago, or maybe not even, saying you were up.
Yeah, I woke up about it's 11 p.m. here, and I woke up about like I don't know 4 hours ago.
Yeah, that's 11 p.m. or a.m. No, p.m. p.m. You should stress that. It's not. Yeah, it's worse than it sounds.
Worse than it sounds, folks. But yeah.
All right, so yeah, after that completely irrelevant profanity-filled tangent, we should probably actually dive into the topic.
Sure.
So, all right, how involved exactly are you with all the Drunken Peasants channels? Like you said you basically run their secondary channels, not the Drunken Peasants channel itself.
I work directly with all their side channels, so like Rage Feed, Drunken Peasants Clips. Those channels aren't really active right now, but I'm going to be like bringing them back, basically bringing some new content to them. I also have another side channel called Drunken Peasants United, where it's basically a bunch of fan content that people submit to me, asking me to put it on the channel because it kind of gives people a platform who may not have, a place to display their shit to a bunch of different Drunken Peasants fans. It helps give them a platform so that the other peasants and other fans can basically take a look at it. And so if you have anything like for the Drunken Peasants, like and you're a fan who creates stuff like intros and all that type of thing, you can send it to Drunken Peasants United, and we'll put it up with a full credit to you in the title and description, and get your name out there. So hopefully the peasants can give you some credit for your amazing work. But yeah, that's my main.
I really like when people actually engage like that with their communities. It's funny. That's probably the silver lining of the whole adpocalypse thing. It's forced people to go to Patreon, which forces them to interact with their fans, because like basically what people really want is to be able to talk to.
You're right. I never really looked
at the
at
people
it
that
like
they follow.
But you're right. That's very true.
Yeah, like if it weren't for the adpocalypse, I wouldn't be one of TJ's generals. I wouldn't be talking to him every week.
Yeah, the whole.
I wouldn't have met you. We wouldn't be doing this right now.
Exactly. It's true. It has made a lot of connections. I don't know, when people are faced with adversity, those type of connections are made because people have to rely on each other more. They have to build connections. Especially after the whole adpocalypse thing, I've noticed that a lot more YouTubers have been working together, doing collaborations and that type of thing to kind of encourage crossover between their fan bases, and that produces more money and views and for everyone, and that's amazing. That means more content for the viewers too. But yeah,
sorry, what were you saying?
I was just gonna say like the whole side channels thing is only like part of what I do when it comes to that type of Drunken Peasants interaction. I do a lot of stuff like behind the scenes for them too. Like I take care of the art direction for their overlays, and I find them videos, and I also take care of their fan communities. So the title is community manager, but it's a lot more than just that.
Yeah, that's why I was saying before we started this, I'm not even sure how to adequately summarize your full job description.
Exactly. Well, I think I just did it there for anyone who's watching. So.
You're like the Drunken Peasants ghost manager.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much.
Well, it's interesting when you look at a lot of these much smaller independent outlets. You have a lot of stuff that everybody wears 5 different hats, and nobody has like an exact job title.
Sure. Yeah, I can see what you mean, especially when it comes to people who do the YouTube thing, but on a smaller scale than the Drunken Peasants. Like, the peasants are really good at merchandising and putting out premium content that people actually want to like engage in and participate in. Well, so like with TJ and his generals meetings, like that's a very I think that's a very appealing perk to put on there.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm honestly surprised more people don't cash in on it.
I know a lot of people.
I mean, I guess I shouldn't jinx it,
Sure.
because it's nice that it's.
But
Yeah,
they don't.
Yeah,
they
like
don't utilize it.
over 60 people have bought it, but every meeting only contains like 10 people, and that's counting TJ himself.
Yeah, and I honestly think like when it comes to TJ's perks, that's probably one of the best ones. So.
And it's relatively cheap compared to what a lot of people, in the past at least, like before the adpocalypse, people would charge out the nose to actually get to talk to them. It was always like $50 minimum to get to talk to a person.
Yeah, because that's what I was just gonna say. Because the Drunken Peasants did $50 for their smoke sesh. That's once a month compared to TJ's meetings, which he does for $20 patrons, and that's 4 times a month. That's really
you know, supposedly.
Well, yeah, supposedly. But
he basically reschedules every single meeting, but whatever.
Yeah. That's another thing I'd like to help with, just the whole scheduling thing. Like, there's a number of things when it comes to the Drunken Peasants that I'd love to help them with, but it's just a matter of time until I can take that responsibility. Like with the Twitter, I'd like to do their Twitter managing for them, so they don't really have to worry about that. I'd like to do all the social media really. In the end game goal, but yeah, I don't know. It takes a while to get there, because that's a lot of trust you have to have in someone to like handle all your social media. Especially me, I just started off as a fan. They didn't like hire me to do this or anything. I started off with the Drunken Peasants wiki, which was my main project, and over time the peasants invited me to manage all these other communities, like their subreddit and their Discord and all that stuff, because basically they were failing, and the people who were in charge of them were incompetent jackasses. So it was either like relinquish your position, or like we'll make a better one, basically. And that's what we've done consistently, and it's been for the best of the community. Honestly.
I mean, I don't know how much interaction they had with you before they brought you on, like totally officially, but it does make me surprised that they would reach out to the manager of the DP wiki of all places. Because, I mean, I know you don't know too much about Drunk Peasants, Vincent, but the DP Wiki is fully satirical.
It's an entirely satirical take on things. The reason why the initial community that Ben brought me in to help admin was the Facebook fan club, because I had made the Discord and wiki by that time at my own, like I did it myself. That was my own initiative. So seeing that someone, basically his thought process, I imagine, was, oh, this person leads 2 communities that are flourishing and doing very, very well. So why not? And they're already official. And I'm already accountable to Ben, because like back in the day, if I wanted the wiki to stay official, I'd have to like, you know, just make sure it runs smoothly and not become like a total shithole like it was before. And you know, since I had experiences doing that, then I guess that's what inspired him to like be like, oh, can you just work on these other communities too? And months later, after the Facebook thing, there was problems with the subreddit, so they brought me on there too. And pretty much after the subreddit, it became pretty official that I'm the community manager for all their official communities, and there really wasn't a question about it, because everyone else who tries
to the Reddit was just blowing up.
Yeah, everyone else who tries to head these fan communities, they usually leave it in fucking shambles, because they care about themselves more than they cared about the peasants, if that makes sense. When I bring people on as a mod or admin for any of my communities, I make them swear, like, even if you have a personal disagreement with, like, I mean, even if I get into a fight with the peasants and I have like a personal disagreement with them, like, always take the peasants over me, because I don't fucking care, you know? Like, I want the communities to stay stable and healthy, even if I left one day under whatever circumstances.
I really wish people looked at positions of power more like that. Like, I don't want to derail too much, but like drawing a parallel to like Congress, it's always odd to me how people that are elected to literally be representatives. It's in the name, at least for the lower house, House of Representatives, that they're supposed to be representing the people in their district. But often they'll treat them like they don't know any better. Like, I don't care. Like, if I was a representative, I don't care what my position was. If there was a clear majority opinion, even if I disagreed with it, that's clearly what the district wants. That's how you should vote.
Yeah, and
right?
that's how it's supposed to work.
Yeah. Ideally, right? And that's exactly why they have 2-year terms, because if they don't do that, they're supposed to boot them, but nobody votes except old people, so incumbents always sit.
Not only that, thanks to super PACs and everything, too, it pretty much proves that we're not going to have, like...
You cannot literally purchase raw votes. I mean, you can manipulate your money to garner more votes, but you cannot literally buy raw votes. So a lot of blame does still lie on people.
Yeah, there's a big issue with, especially this election cycle, where millennials, especially people who supported Bernie, who didn't go out and vote for Bernie because they were like, whatever. And then
I was very afraid that would happen. Yeah.
It happened again in the general election with Hillary, and I get why people didn't actually vote for her. I didn't vote for her because she sucks. But like that's a big reason why, because millennials tended to Hillary, I think, more than Trump. Like younger people, because even though they didn't like her, they still, they're still closer to Democrats than they are to Republicans. And they just didn't go and vote. And want to know why they didn't vote? Because they were like, Hillary's got it in the bag. She's not going to lose to an orangutan. And she did.
I warned people, I didn't want either to win, so I didn't really give a shit. But I warned people going in that expressed that mentality. Like, if you really want your person to win, vote. Because if you all have that mentality, have it in the bag, then no one's actually going to vote for them because they think it's solid. And then obviously they get no votes. But
my problem is
Trump voters were actually passionate, so they went out and voted.
Yes. Or at least there was a significant chunk of them that were. There were also the decent size of Trump voters that voted for him because he wasn't Hillary.
Yeah, I mean, rather relative to politicians in general.
Yes, you're right.
Trump voters were passionate. Exactly. And so were Bernie's in the primary, but we're talking general. But yeah, my voting story was weird. I personally did not get a chance to vote because I was still registered in a different city and I wasn't get out there in time to vote. But my friend at work only voted because of me, and he voted for Jill Stein, so my vote kind of got out there. Now, don't take that the wrong way. I did not necessarily want Jill Stein to win because I know she's a little loony. I know she's a little loony. Yeah, but my vote was for the Green Party, not for Jill Stein, because I knew she would not win. It was statistically infeasible. I just wanted the Green Party to get that 5%, so at least they could...
Yeah, that was... I literally made a tweet when I went out and voted. I was like, I don't care about anyway, the results of this election is going to suck. I just want the Green Party to get that sweet, sweet money so they can actually, like, have a federally funded campaign next election. And of course that didn't happen. Because they had to reach, like, 5%, you said, right? If they wanted to get some federal funding for their campaigning. So, yeah, they weren't able to meet that. I did vote for Jill Stein. I regret it, but it's not because Trump won. I regret it because some of the shit, like, it was really fucking weird. Some of the shit that she said, like, immediately after she lost was like, what? What? Why'd you fucking say that? Like, she, when Castro passed away, like Fidel Castro, she was like, oh, wow, what a revolutionary. He did so much for his country. Something like that in a tweet. That's paraphrased, obviously. But she did say something very similar to that. And I'm like, what the fuck? Seriously? You're going to say that? And that it was around that time, too, that the Greens put out in their platform that they were formally anti-capitalism. That's what really struck a nerve with me. Anti-capitalism? Really? Like, really? Like, this is our alternative to the Democrats. Like, basically, a lot of communists are in the Green Party. A lot. And I didn't think that for the longest time. I thought, oh, like, social democrat type people like me and Bernie Sanders, like, people who believe in our, like, spectrum of the political sphere. That's who the Green Party are, right? There are some people in the Green Party who are like that, but a lot of them are like outward fucking communists. Like, I was part of a Facebook group, and for the longest time, Jill Stein's dank meme stash, and all they posted was communist memes. By the time I left, when it first started, it was like more like people who were like social democrats, like Bernie Sanders. But by the end, they were all communists, and it pushed away a bunch of people. I think that's a big reason why Jill Stein didn't get as much of a vote as she could. Number one, because she didn't campaign properly. Number two, because she spouts these fucking batshit ideas and tried to appeal to radical leftists. There's no time in American political history where radical leftists are looked down more than right now, except for maybe the Red Scare.
Well, this last election was really messed up because we really didn't have an option that was really going for working people.
Yeah.
We had one that said he was.
Yes, exactly.
But
and people fell for it, unfortunately.
Yeah. And apparently Justin is having some issues talking.
Oh, really? That's fine, because I did go on a long-ass rant there for a while, so at least that covered part of the time. But, yeah, I don't know. A big issue, I think, is that we had this great opportunity. I know it's like that's going to sound weird for me to say, but we really had this great opportunity because we had the most two disliked candidates in history. I'm pretty sure it was a historical disapproval rating before they were even like considered to be the president. Yeah, and this could have been the election where third parties really just won it all, or at least made an impact to make people think, oh, maybe next election 30 parties might just have a chance. Because the big thing against third parties, the reason why people don't vote for them, the reason why is because they're like, oh, I'm throwing away my vote. There's no chance. All this past election showed, with Hillary and Donald fucking Trump, you know, in top of both main parties, we couldn't even get a third party candidate to like 3% Yeah. Then how are we ever gonna fucking do it then? You know what I mean? It's not because of the third parties though, and this was the perfect time to do it. It's because Gary Johnson's a fucking retard, and Jill Stein is a radical leftist, and people hate the radical left right now. And she's stupid on some other things. I don't think she's as stupid as Gary Johnson. People hate radical leftists right now, and libertarianism is actually on the rise. But Gary Johnson's the wrong kind of libertarian. People want someone who's like fiercely libertarian, like Rand Paul. Gary fucking Johnson, he advocates for putting labels on GMOs. That's the most unlibertarian shit I've ever heard in my life. And he claims to be the libertarian candidate in 2016. That's something Jill Stein says. And she's a radical leftist. I'm surprised I didn't hear Gary Johnson going out and talking about how fucking vaccines are poisoning our children.
Yeah, we need a Labour Party is what we need.
Yeah, hopefully it's not. Hopefully it's better than the UK's Labour Party, but yeah, something like that would be beneficial. The Democrats are never going to be swung over to the left, and nor should they be.
I really hope this whole Justice Democrats thing goes somewhere and at least pulls the Democratic Party away from center, because they could do well. I think something completely different from the Democratic Party is needed. I would rather see something like a Labour Party come out for America, but Democrats are the closest we've got.
Here's how I picture like a more ideal political sphere for America. So there would be three parties. Basically, one of them would be a proper left-leaning party, like a Labor type party, like you described.
Right.
The Democrats would be the centrists.
All right. Sorry about that.
And the Republicans would be, like in this ideal world, they would be more libertarian type of conservatives. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I think that would be I think that'd be a very healthy, like, political discourse going on in America if we had something like that. But the problem is, with this two-party dynamic, Democrats who aren't left-leaning are kind of labeled as left-leaning when they're not. And people who are in the center should legitimately have their own party. You know what I mean? I believe that. So, I don't know. It's just a matter of you can't force centrists and radical leftists together.
Well, the Democrats keep going right is the problem.
Yeah,
and
that's
as
the
they keep
thing.
going right, they keep losing their base, which is majority working people.
Yeah, when people say that the Democrats are center, then they don't mean it in like, oh, you know, they're just being fair and like, you know, looking at things objectively. It's like, no, they're like, they started off leaning towards the left, and now like everyone's like leaning towards the right. Like, there's no progress being made in America by anybody right now.
Exactly.
What I think the Democrats' biggest issue is the fact that, okay, so Republicans, both their voter base and their politician are right-wing. Now, the voter base isn't as right-wing, but they're still on the right of the spectrum. Whereas with Democrats, their voters are left-wings and their politician are right-wing. Politicians, sorry.
Yes. And there's some people who are outsiders, like Bernie Sanders, who are completely rejected from the party and having any discourse in there. So Sanders is independent anyway. You have to keep that in mind. So
yeah.
Even then,
yeah. I mean,
Elizabeth Warren would have been a better.
Sure, you're
example.
Right. I only said Sanders because he did self-identify as a Democrat for the primaries,
Sure.
Like I'm pretty sure.
He ran as a Democrat, but the entire time he still kept referring to himself as an independent. And even immediately after the election, when people asked him if he considers himself a Democrat, he just straight up said no hesitation. Yeah,
I mean that's always been really weird to me because he still goes out and he still does like. He speaks and like advocates for getting the Democrats.
I think what he wants. I think he wants the party to swing around to his end before he self-identifies as them.
Okay, you're probably right. The problem
if they adopted his platform, I'm sure he would have been identifying with them by now.
Oh well, if they adopted his platform, then he would be the president. And he would definitely be considering himself a Democrat.
I mean, even if this happened after, like, even if as a result of Hillary losing, they finally had some introspection, we're like, oh shit, maybe we do need to change some things, and then actually started listening to Bernie. By now, he might be calling himself a Democrat, even if he had lost.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay, I have an interesting question.
Sure.
As far as a Labor Party or something similar, and reforming the Democratic Party. With Bernie Sanders sitting where he is, do you think he's got a better shot of actually reforming the Democratic Party from the inside out? Or do you think he would have a better shot of making bigger change in this country if he completely broke, ran, and started his own party?
Well, the problem is that Bernie Sanders will never do that. And
the problem is he's been asked this several times.
I know.
But hold on, let me finish. He keeps insisting that reforming the Democratic Party is the right way to go. But yes, I do think if he went third party, we would see the best change because enough people would follow him that a third party would at the very least finally hit that 5% marker next time around.
This is where I am.
Imagine if Bernie actually had taken Jill Stein up on her offer to run on the green ticket. I highly doubt he would have won. Votes would have been way more split, but it doesn't matter. Trump still wins. We'd be in the same boat we're in now, except we would have a three-party system now.
The only problem that
and then we'd have 4 whole years for people to listen to Bernie.
The only problem that arrives at that is, and it's already a problem, so I don't know if it's necessarily even worth considering, is people already blame Bernie Sanders somehow they already blame Bernie Sanders for Hillary losing the election. Man, would they blame the fuck out of him if he tried to run for third party and actually got a lot of votes. Well, at least when things initially started, people put a lot of blame on Gary Johnson and Jill Stein. You don't hear about that anymore. But I'm sure the Democrats still blame those two.
I've been hearing about it all the time.
I don't really hear about it so much anymore, but when that first happened, I heard about it all the time. Yeah. I mean, I've been trying to stay away from political talk lately just because it was so overwhelming during the election season. But, yeah, I still like to have a conversation about it here and there just because it's so interesting to me just how much Americans fucked over their own interests. For 4 years, I don't know.
All right, where did I lose you guys? My internet crapped out.
I have no idea.
I was just talking about, like, American political interests and that type of thing. We can pick up anywhere if you want. Yeah, one thing definitely though is like they just, I don't know. I feel like Bernie would have almost been better off. Like you said, what if you'd taken up Jill Stein's offer? I feel like you maybe might have performed better.
Okay,
I
so
don't
yeah,
know.
what I was trying to say there before, I think that might be where my internet crapped out. But what I was saying there is, the votes would have been way more split. He would have gotten way more votes because he would have been absolutely no doubt that they would have hit the 5% marker, which means Trump still wins, but we have 3 parties now. That's what it would have. That's what would have happened.
Sure.
And
I think before we can even like, all right, like I'm gonna be honest, libertarians and Greens need to stop with this fucking Stop with the fucking presidential election campaigning. Stop wasting your fucking money. You need to get in smaller offices if you even want to hope to gain the presidency one day.
You see, I felt that way, and I do still feel that way. They should be trying from all angles. What's unfortunate there is most people only pay attention to the presidential election. So if they want the publicity, if they want people to know who they are, they need to debate. Even if they're not going to win, at the very least, they're getting their message and their platform out there, and then people will start looking to them when it comes to more localized elections. And it's not like they can't multitask. It's not like they can't be running for the presidential seat and for like fucking some sort of city planner shit or senator.
The Greens in particular, they just don't put enough effort into their local elections. Like, I think it's been a very long time since the Greens held any office at all in America. So I don't know, and they're the closest thing we have to an actual left-leaning party. I feel like maybe Bernie would have, because you said, what if Bernie took up Jill Stein's offer to become the Green candidate instead of her, and she would have probably been like the VP or whatever. I don't know exactly what their plans were. But I think Bernie might have been better off if he started his own party instead of the Greens. Because the Greens have a lot of negative connotations stuck to them, like being Castro apologists. Because and they're also social justice warriors. A lot of them.
Yeah, that was when that became extremely apparent. Like Jill Stein had shared something from the Green Party website, basically saying Islamophobia is racism. I think that was the title of the article.
Yes.
So it was then when I said, all right, fuck the Green Party. They're a bunch of fucking crazy left-wing tree-hugging nut jobs.
Yeah, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, I thought you guys were supposed to be like social democrats. What the fuck? Dude, I literally felt gypped. I felt ripped off.
Yeah, I know, right?
False advertising. Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't feel ripped off or gypped. I felt just aggravated and disappointed. Like, god damn it. Even this minuscule party that couldn't garner up 1% of votes, even they do not fit what I want.
Yep.
So here's why I am very, very pissed off with the American public. So many people were on board with Bernie Sanders. And most of those people are just sitting there holding their breath, waiting for him to show them what to do. Rather than going and just doing it. I mean, we have all of these people that are right now running for office in 2018. All of these House seats that are going to be up, some of the Senate seats that are going to be up, a bunch of different state elections, the whole Justice Democrats movement. Everybody's trying to reform the Democratic Party from the inside. There are even some Greens that are coming out. But nobody is taking Bernie's platform and just running away with it. Absolutely nobody. Everybody's just sitting there watching him and waiting for him to do it first before they follow. But nobody will go and take the first step to do that themselves. I don't
like you said, it's just a bunch of people with thumbs up their asses waiting for the other guy to do something.
Yeah, and I don't understand why everybody is sitting there waiting for that guy when... I don't know about you guys, but I'm very disappointed with Bernie lately, cuddling up to the DNC and not really doing a damn thing to actually reform the party. He needs to realize that ship's not getting out of port, and he needs to go do whatever he's going to do on his own thing.
You know what's really been pissing me off lately, just to kind of go on that same type of note? Elizabeth Warren. Because she's been doing this anti-establishment talk again. It's like, do you not remember what happened in fucking 2016? You kissed up to the queen of the establishment. Like, how can you pretend to be against that on Twitter and all these social media outlets when you fucking kissed the ring of the biggest piece of shit that you're supposed to oppose? Like, Hillary Clinton represents that.
Yeah.
So,
She even walked onto stage in a matching pantsuit.
I know.
Oh god.
that was cringy. That was really cringy.
I can't be 100% certain if that was intentional.
It had to be. You know they think out everything. They think out every little detail like that. It shows unity. We're together, stronger together. Yeah, that type of thing.
It just made it look like Elizabeth Warren just got assimilated.
Yeah, she's a hill drone, but
Yeah.
It looks like that. But
I've never seen Star Trek, but I know TJ likes making board comparisons a lot. That's what that was.
yeah.
Now, I mean, if that movement actually came around and we did end up getting a Labor Party, I could see Elizabeth Warren actually being one of the first to jump ship. Because
You think?
everything else she talks about, everything else she talks about, her message is already there.
I think she would give it a full election cycle before she even considered it.
That's probably likely, but how many sitting...
Then she would not be one of the first to jump ship.
To jump ship? How many sitting congressmen right now do you think would willingly just up and jump into the Labor Party?
Who's the one from Hawaii?
Oh, Tulsi Gabbard?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, she might.
That's my answer.
Possibly Ro Khanna.
Who's that?
Ro Khanna is a newer congressman in the House.
Ah.
He's from... What the hell is it? Here in California, the Silicon Valley.
Oh, okay. Not usually a good sign, but...
No, but he's like pro-union.
Oh, that's good.
He's all of the left-wing stuff, all on Bernie's message. He's actually, I believe, the only sitting congressman on Justice Democrats right now.
Yeah.
Is that who that was?
Yeah.
'Cause I heard they did get one, but I don't recall who it was.
I remember hearing about that, actually. That's very cool.
I mean, as much as I will bash on the Justice Democrats movement, I really do hope it goes somewhere. I just don't think that is where the energy should be focused. I think we can do better for America if we went and founded a Labor Party.
Yeah, I kind of agree with, I think it was Kyle Kalinske that said it. You don't have to back just one horse. You can advocate, like I was saying earlier, you can multitask. You can advocate for two things at once.
Yeah, I mean, did you hear that in our district here we have an independent running?
Yeah, you told me.
That's awesome.
But well,
I don't recall who.
sucks.
I don't reccall the name.
Oh, he sucks. What
Okay.
is he a libertarian style?
He doesn't come out and say like where he's at, but his policies.
What are some policy stances that make you think he sucks?
Well, specifically on healthcare, he talks just about insurance and making insurance affordable for people. So.
Oh God, yeah, no, fuck that fuck the foot dragging.
Yeah, he just wants to basically keep everything stable as is, rather than actually going in and moving for change. And we definitely need change. But that's why I like Julia.
Yeah, I'll still cast my vote for Julia, even if she's a tiny bit SJW. Just a little. It's bearable.
Yeah, but on the other hand, she's for Medicare for all. She's for the Free Employee Choice Act to strengthen unionization. And
yeah, I mean, just to throw that out there in case anyone actually happens to watch both the interview and this one, to add a little context there, I'm swinging around on her, even though she does seem a little bit SJW, because at least when I brought up counterpoints, she addressed them and basically acknowledged that maybe she's wrong, and I could see the gears turning in her head.
Yeah, and
She at least listens to dissent.
And like we already said before, like, any politician that is able to look you in the eye and say, I don't know, actually has more respect from me than someone who just makes
that was
some
another
BS
thing.
on the spot.
We specifically brought up the whole I don't know thing. We talked about that. She very much was fine with saying I don't know, and that's how a person should be. They need to be open to new information. Sorry to third wheel you, Fancy.
It's fine.
But yeah, the one video we have on our channel right now, we interviewed a Democrat running for Congress in our district.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so we came into this starting on the YouTube adpocalypse. So
yeah, I figured eventually we'd boomerang back around.
Well, I see it spiraling out of control, so I figured I'd just
run after the boomerang and grab it.
Do a hard stop, and let's just get back to it. Where we veered off on politics, talking about how the 2016 election went. It was kind of a wake up call to a lot of people, and myself included. Got a lot of people more involved in politics, and that's not the only place that it's happening. YouTube. I actually had a good way going there.
I actually had a good way I wanted to bring the politics back into the whole YouTube thing.
Oh,
after seeing what the adpocalypse has done to YouTubers, forcing them to go to shit like Patreon, and seeing how wasn't Bernie Sanders' campaign like the most independently funded campaign?
Yeah.
I don't know if historically, but definitely during that election.
Oh yeah, in a long time, in the very least.
I think it might do a fair deal of improvement to the way elections work if, well, I mean, first pass the whole Wolfpack thing and actually get money out of politics, but then also maybe decrease their salaries to more just like a little over barely livable, and give them all donation boxes that people can access. Make them live on the donations of the people they're representing. Because if they're doing a good job, those people if they are genuinely helping the people they represent, those people ought to be forking over money, right?
That's an interesting idea, but you're talking about them willingly donating money in addition to the taxes they're already paying.
Well, that's why I said also probably halve their salaries.
The thing is, looking at tax dollars, what goes into paying a congressman's salary, and if you add up all, 535 or 535 congressmen, right?
Yeah, something like that.
They don't really make that much money. You won't say
they make over 100,000 a year.
I understand that. And that's a drop in the bucket when you look at the total number of taxes that everybody's spending.
Plus free travel. Well, I mean, I don't want to look at it as a percentage of what people are paying. I want to look at it as what that person is able to live off of.
Yeah, I think we...
I don't care how minuscule of a percentage it is.
I think we just need to get people in there that are going to earn that wage.
Well, let me follow that logic. You're saying it's going to be a minuscule amount of people's taxes. Like what? How much out of an individual person's paycheck do you think it might actually be? Cents, if even?
If even. But
yeah,
getting people to actually go
then
and
all it ought
their money.
Then all it ought to be, yeah, how many people does a single representative represent? Probably hundreds of thousands, right?
If you were going to do this, you need to also back it with compulsory voting. Force people to get more involved.
Well, hold on. Think about it like this. How many congressmen did you say there are total in America? 500 something?
535.
We'll even round it up to 600,000. It's 300 million people in America.
Senators are paid more than House reps.
Only a bit, relatively speaking. But doesn't matter. So there's what, about 500? Okay, well, again, rounding up to about 600 people. There's about 300 million people in America. I think only roughly half are registered voters. I can't recall exactly. But even then, that's how many how many people relative to an actual representative? 250,000, about 250,000. So if literally all of those people donated a penny, they'd still get what, thousands of dollars off of that.
Right, you just took it out of taxes and you put it towards a voluntary donation instead.
Yeah. And I'm not saying completely kill their salary. I said, like, cut it in half.
I think that idea needs more work before it's seriously discussed.
I don't know, fuck. If we could genuinely manage to get money out of politics, that would be enough then.
If we manage to get money out of politics, then
I guess this whole discussion wouldn't matter anymore.
Yeah,
then,
the congressman would actually be in there and caring about the shit that they're actually signing.
You still there, Fancy?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay.
Yeah, so going back to the YouTube thing,
yeah,
we've also got more people getting up and actually caring about what's going on YouTube. I've seen people getting irritable over Facebook privacy policies and all sorts of stuff. So people are becoming more aware of what's going on and how everything is all interconnected. People are actually starting to wake up. I don't know if it's me waking up myself and seeing more too, but it's just an interesting time to be looking at all of this.
It might be, because how long ago did all that SOPA shit happen? And I saw just as much backlash as I'm seeing now.
Yeah, I think it may just be a personal perspective that since I'm more aware of everything, I'm just seeing more. But with this YouTube stuff, this is really a game changer on YouTube.
Yeah, I don't know how long you've been. How long exactly have you been, like, really intimately involved, like, with the accounts of the Drunken Peasants?
Let's see. The wiki's been for about 2 years, but everything else is about 1 year. So.
Yeah, I mean, like, how long would you actually know about, you know, like, their income, like how well the channels actually do, how much money they rake in, what their analytics are, shit like that?
I would say not until about February of this year did I become that ingrained in the process like that.
When did all the adpocalypse shit happen?
I'm pretty sure it was in April.
All right, so you've had an even amount of time pre and post adpocalypse then.
Yeah. So
how big of a difference would you say it made, percentage-wise, maybe?
I'm going to put it into perspective that anyone can easily understand. The peasants had an entire Europe trip and several meetups planned that are all postponed now. When it comes to stuff like that, they just can't do the same type of ambitious things that they wanted to do all at once. They have to space it out more. So I've noticed that it's really an inhibitor on what kind of content they can put out. It's an inhibitor of what kind of content they can put out because they have to consider it very much more so than before, like what content they're putting out. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, and that's very unfortunate now. That they're having to specifically curtail their content in an effort to try to get money.
I don't think that they do that much just because of the nature of their show. They're just kind of like, fuck it, let's just try and make our money elsewhere.
I'm actually curious. Yeah, I'm curious if you know how much the super chats have been helping, because I don't know exactly how much they rake in, but I remember I was watching a Chris Raygun live stream, and after only like 20 minutes in, he had commented that he had already gotten a few $1,000s from super chats. That's astounding.
Yeah, don't quote me on this. Don't quote me on this. But I'm pretty sure that they said during one of the episodes that...
You're being recorded. Anyone else can quote you. We don't have to.
I know. Well, like... don't take this verbatim, because I'm not sure it's true. But I'm pretty sure that's their main source of income now.
The super chats?
Yes.
I mean, honestly, I don't doubt it. I honestly find the super chats a little hilarious with how many people are willing to fork over like well over the $20. Like I've seen plenty of $100 donations, and like they're not really getting. You would think if people were willing to just throw out that money at a one-time instance with absolutely no reward, yeah, you would think they would be on Patreon. You would think you'd have more people in TJ's Generals. You would think you'd have more people in the Smoke Sesh. You would think you would have more people like Finn who don't shut up about donating $1,000.
I know, right? But what? They don't. I don't know why. I think it's some sort of instant gratification to see the peasants read your comment, I guess. I don't know how it necessarily works.
I'd much rather talk to TJ once a week for $20 than just throw out a $200 super chat because they'll read it live. I mean, yeah. I got indirectly mentioned by TJ anyway in an Abandoned Hope episode.
Oh yeah, that's true. I remember that. You mentioned that.
Yeah, he commented about how a guy wanted him to watch Firefly. I'm really disappointed that he said he tried watching it and couldn't get into it.
Yeah, you know, you really are depressing. Right? Because
yeah, it's like when Rachel told me that she didn't like it. I was heartbroken.
Yeah, well, Rachel also isn't a big Star Wars fan either.
So what? Firefly is not like Star Wars. I mean, now we're really derailing, but
I know.
I can rant about that.
I know, but there are people that are not into the same things as we are. And
Firefly is hard sci-fi.
Okay, and it also feels like a Western. So if people aren't into that, then they won't dig Firefly.
Okay, but still, Star Wars is a goddamn fantasy with lasers.
Yeah, and if people aren't into that, they're not going to dig Star Wars.
How about you, Fancy? What do you think? Star Wars and Firefly?
I've honestly never seen Firefly before. I've only seen like a couple episodes of the show, honestly. What I saw was pretty good. Yeah, what I saw was pretty good, but I find it very difficult to get into long-term TV shows. I'm just kind of like a
long-term. It got canceled after it didn't even air a season.
I can't even watch a fucking season. I prefer like movies.
I specifically hate movies because they're too short. There's no time for character or plot development.
Yeah, to each their own. I can see why.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough. Though, if I might meet you halfway, I would recommend a movie called Primer.
Sure.
All right. It is my absolute favorite movie of all time. I seem to have a sort of time travel fetish. Anyway,
so if we travel back to YouTube, then.
Yeah, let's go back in time, if you will.
So I remember I was listening to Secular Talk, and when he first introduced his Patreon, he even said on a show that he wasn't even going to have perks. And as far as I know, he doesn't do live streams with super chats. I haven't seen any if he does. He gives nothing back for any money that he brings in except for the content that he puts out.
And he still had like the fastest amount of people sign on to his Patreon that I've ever seen.
Yeah, and I was one of them.
Yeah, he got thousands of dollars within the first day.
But
he broke 10,000 in a day, didn't he?
I believe so. If not, he was right under 10,000.
So what you're saying is it was over 9,000.
It was over 9,000. But yeah, if the viewers are getting more engaged, and I guess this is easier in the news and politics category because you know those users are engaged. If the users are engaged, they are more willing to see that, oh my god, this needs help. I like the content that I'm getting out of this, and if I can be a part of propping that up, then I will. And that's what I did. I'm a patron to Secular Talk. Also,
yeah, so am I. I did $7, which was the highest perk he had. I mean, I know you can drop anything in, which makes me wonder why he made 3 tiers of no reward.
Like, I totally get people who want to put out the Patreon and they're like, hey, I don't really have like anything to really offer. This is just if you want to toss me some money. I get that, but a lot of people, when they do that, they structure their Patreon very oddly. Like, they don't even put goals as like a joke. It's just like a bunch of weird mismanaged stuff.
Yeah, like I've at least seen ones that do like complete jokes for the rewards.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, the reward is effectively nothing, but, you know, at least there's some humorous reading content before you pay them.
Yeah, like, I think back when we had we still have a Patreon, but I actually changed it so that people can actually get perks for the whole Drunken Peasants United thing. I'm probably going to close that, because now that I'm, like, closely related to the peasants. But it was basically just for upkeep of the DP wiki and that type of shit. And what our $20 perk was, you can be part of our Feed a Manatee Club, where we'll send a bowl of mac and cheese to a manatee.
Did you ever actually mail any Easy Mac to Brett Keane?
No, it wasn't to Brett Keane. It was to a manatee. Very, very.
Yeah, yeah, but as a joke, you really should have mailed like one thing of Easy Mac to Brett Keane.
Yeah, some Easy Mac.
Oh, jeez.
As long as Dorn remembers to put the cheese packet in.
Yeah, as long as the mac and cheese is still creamy.
Vincent's fucking laughing. I know he's never seen Drunken Peasants.
It's still funny.
Still laughing at inside jokes he doesn't get. That's how funny these jokes are.
Oh, gold.
Gold?
I can see the humor in context.
Anyway.
Yeah, so also things like Patreon have definitely taken off as a result of this.
Yeah, I find it funny that actually we're talking on Discord right now, and like, by an indirect route of things, Discord has fucking flourished because of the adpocalypse.
Exactly.
Because people flocked to Patreon because they flocked to YouTube, and people flocked to Discord because Patreon has a thing with Discord now.
Yeah, they brought in the formal integration that anyone can do really easily. So I've noticed a lot of content creators who don't even know shit about Discord. People have had to like make their Discord servers for them. Like, no joke.
Yeah, I mean, the Drunken Peasants Discord was the first I had joined, and then I set this thing up. And I mean, it's arranged properly. The permissions work. I had no fucking experience with this the day before I set all this up.
Hey, I don't have to
one day.
You know what the best part? I don't have to handle any of that shit either. Patreon's bot does it all for us. So really nice. Really nice. Yep, dude.
Oh, well,
seriously,
I mean,
I've never had to touch the roles
yeah,
once.
for the Patreon perk, but I mean, like, there's still plenty of. Oh well, I mean, like, you still have to like hand add people to certain ones. You know, like the Pleasure Squad, obviously.
Yeah, well.
But yeah, for the patron specific roles, I get. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
It does it on. Does it remove them automatically too?
Yes, it does. It does.
Huh.
And I've never gotten an actual issue with it, so it's good with it. It never fucks up.
Except for Finn, who really wanted to have the smoke sesh perk because he paid you $1,000.
Well, the thing about that was only $50.
Yeah, I know. Well, I mean, was there a specific reason for that? I mean, I know we're totally derailing, but I'm curious.
I have no idea, but the only reason I can possibly think of is because they thought, oh, it's gonna get too crowded in here if we bring in $100 ones too. But I don't look. That's not actually what they said to me. That's just my presumption because that's the only thing that actually makes sense at all. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? That's the only thing that could make sense to me why they do that in particular. But I don't know.
Maybe they were just trying to milk an extra 50 out of everyone.
I don't. But here's the thing about that, though, right?
Yeah, you can't even donate to 2 perks at once, can you? Yeah,
and not only that, Luis is a $100 patron, and he really likes the. I mean, he really liked the old Patreon Google Hangouts.
Still a $100 patron?
Yes, he is. Yes,
yeah,
he is.
And he's a fucking admin. He doesn't even need it to access everything anymore.
Well, I don't let my admins go in with patron perks, and they Yeah, no, they can't go in the smoke section.
Oh, it's just you Muchafa, the TJ's General thing, right?
The only reason why that is because TJ asked me to help. TJ asked me to help, and it just kind of stuck every time after. But I've brought in a couple other people to help me moderate once or twice. Like Loco Cubano is another one of my admins. I just have to ask the peasants before.
I thought it was hilarious that Shirt Guy still has to pay, even though he's a.
Like I said, he only does it for the perks, and he's been a patron for the longest time. So.
Speaking of, TJ said I should be Shirt Guy too. So since you have Egghead Alpha and Egghead Beta, can I be Shirt Guy too?
Oh my god, no. No, look, I just got over, like, having two people who are basically called the same shit.
I really liked the Egghead and Egghead Prime alternative.
You know what was real, okay, so what was annoying, Egghead right? Prime so we had Egghead and Egghead 2. That was kind of confusing to me, but Egghead 2's real name is Chris. He said that before, like, on the show and everything, so that's fine for me.
So you're not dog.
No, I'm not dog. His name's Chris, and there's another person in the Discord server who I'm friends with, and who also has the bourgeoisie called Chris. So I'm always like, if I'm not confusing...
Called Chris, or are you talking about her?
Like Porn Chris. Porn Chris.
Yeah, her.
Yeah.
Her Kristoff. I just call him her because there's 2 R's in it.
Yeah.
Her.
But yeah.
I told him his name sounds like he's like squeezing his shit out.
So it's confusing because like I can't just call him Egghead. Because then I'll confuse him with the other Egghead. I can't just call him Chris or else I'll confuse him with the other Chris. So it's like, what the hell?
He's Egghead Alpha.
Yeah, so now he's Egghead Alpha.
Before that, he was Egghead 2. What was so hard about that?
I don't know. It wasn't as catchy. I don't know. 1 and 2 just don't sound.
Egghead Prime.
Egghead Prime. It's like Metroid Prime, but with Egghead. Oh, that sounds terrible.
That's why I just go with Vince.
I was gonna go with like Optimus Sunny Side Up. Nah, fuck real names. I am the half-heartless heathen. It's literal and it has alliteration. It's a literal.
Yeah, you love your alliteration.
Fancy still there?
Yep.
Okay. Anyway, we keep going off on the wild tangents before we can bring it back to the whole, I know we keep eventually wanting to tackle the new tube thing we alluded to.
Yeah, so Fancy, where do you see this whole YouTube adpocalypse thing going? Do you think it's gonna kind of level out? Is it gonna go back the way it was? Is it just gonna get worse?
So here's my prediction, right? Back in 2010, I believe, TJ had to censor the swear words out of his videos. YouTube's been worse. It'll get worse in the future, but it'll come back and bounce back. And the problem is, whenever people really start to get bent out of shape and be like, you know what? I'm done with YouTube. They've fucked us over too many times. Us independent content creators need a fair fucking deal. Then YouTube starts to, like, pussyfoot around and give some concessions, and then people forget all about it until it happens again in, like, a year or two.
Yeah, I was really hoping that's where Philip DeFranco was going.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, wait, didn't someone bring up at a war room once, like, that YouTubers should try to collaborate together and form some type of...
Yes, that was me, yes.
Okay, then yes. Yeah.
For the first 2 meetings, I was talking about that, yes. And then I realized
that was a good idea.
And then I realized TJ was not going to really get back to me. I tried to get him in this so me and my brother could talk to him, but he told me he would. That was what, 2 months ago?
Yeah. Oh, I see how it is. So I'm just your leftovers then, huh?
Well, I didn't even know about you yet. I
Oh, yeah,
met
yeah,
you
that's
during
good.
the first war room meeting. Remember, I came there an hour early and I saw you in there, and I heard you talk. I realized you weren't Scotty, so I was like, "So, who are you?"
Yeah, actually,
So I'd never heard of you before, but you were an admin.
when Justin and I first talked about that whole war room thing, we were looking at it with everything. We wanted to start with Amethyst Arts, and now this YouTube adpocalypse is opening all of these YouTubers up to communicating more with their audiences. Why don't we jump in on this as a networking opportunity and try and get our foot in the door?
And don't feel hurt. And don't feel hurt, Fancy. I told you that's exactly why I joined. And then I followed it up with, "Do you want to have this call?" And you said, "No problem." If it helps, you're a cooler person than TJ anyway, because at least you talk to me.
Happy to be here. Happy to be here.
Yep. You're only second pick because I didn't even know about you until after I made my first pick. If that helps feel better.
Paul does a lot of this type of shit too, so maybe worth reaching out to him at some point. I know that.
Yeah, but every time I see Paul in a room, there's like 20 other people trying to talk to him.
Yeah, I mean, like Paul's one of those people. Like you really have to catch him at the right time.
If you could set something up with us and Paul, that would be fantastic. But I ain't gonna try to use you like that, man.
Sure, maybe. I consider doing that at some point. I think
you're worth more than a hoe.
A good place for an open dialogue to talk about some shit. Paul doesn't really have. I don't know. I feel like he doesn't really. I want to get him on one of his globalist rants. I just want to see it happen.
Yeah,
for like 5 hours.
Wait, is he pro or anti-globalist?
He's a globalist. He is a globalist.
Okay, I really want to talk to him then.
Yeah. Why are you pro or against?
I see absolutely no reason to be against it.
Okay.
It's just larger scale government. I don't understand the problem.
You probably agree with him then.
That's why I want to talk to him. So few people agree. Everyone here's globalist. It's like communist. It's just a scary buzzword.
Are you have you ever watched the Nightmare Fuel podcast?
No.
It's hosted by hosted by a dude who identifies himself as a globalist. Man, I've been trying to get him and Paul to have a discussion for so long.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not so much like actively globalist. I just have no opinion one way or the other. Neither globalism or whatever the fuck you'd call the alternative seem inherently bad to me.
I just see a lot of cultural and economic problems with it, but nothing that can't be worked out over.
Why? I mean, it's just a higher step up. We're a country that basically consists of 50 smaller countries. We have no problem. Why? Like what?
We have no problem.
It would just be another level up. Huh? Well, I mean, economy-wise, like if everything was functioning fine, like without monopolies and shit.
I think before we talk about globalism, I think America needs to start working correctly first, because we are, and I think Canada is. Well, I mean,
hold on. Why just America? Because why just America? Because there's shitload of countries that would be involved in this. They'd all have to be on board.
No, because America, like you said, is basically 50 countries within a larger country. So if you're talking about a worldwide country where all of the existing nations
I mean, the UN already exists. It's already a global government. I'm just talking about making it a stronger force, basically.
Yeah.
You got me on a globalist rant.
I'm all for that. I just know that there are hurdles to be jumped through getting there.
All right, now I want me and Paul versus Vincent.
I'm not saying that I'm against it, and actually I'm not knowledgeable enough on the topic to go against three people.
I want to gank you in a globalist debate.
All right, I'll have to do some research.
I like going in totally unprepared so I can hear both sides.
Well, I'll have to do some research so I at least know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Anyway, where were we?
We were talking about where we see the YouTube adpocalypse and
yeah.
YouTube going in the future.
So, I mean, okay, you're still there, right, Fancy?
Yep.
So okay, so this was exactly why I picked TJ of all people, because TJ has been the War Room and going to the Drunken Peasants channel has been the only one that I've actually sought contact with so far. My idea was, because of the Drunken Peasants, because they always have so many people on, I felt like Drunken Peasants was kind of the linchpin of this whole community of YouTubers. So if we wanted to really get these ideas out there and inspire people to potentially band together and go either to some pre-existing thing or potentially starting their own, as we were dubbing it, NewTube.
Sure.
Whichever option it ends up being, it really does seem like, even though I know TJ personally does not want to be the one heading everything, he's only one of the peasants, it really does seem like the Drunken Peasants are in the best position to lead that charge, because they seem to have the widest reach within their community.
Sure. A big reason why that is because podcast-style formats, let's be honest, they aren't that big. They don't get that big generally unless you're Joe Rogan. And for them, they interact with so many people. They've had so many people on their show. They try to interact and reach out to a lot of people. That's why, because they made it so that they're at the center of all these things, so that their fans know who all these people are. And because of that, they have crossover from people who are shared fans among all other YouTubers. There are people who are fans of Sargon, Blair White, plenty of other people that they've had on the show who appear on here. Even more left-leaning people like David Pakman. That's the good thing about having a diverse amount of guests on your show and not just having people who reinforce what you already believe. They even had fucking Naked Ape on the show. I don't like Naked Ape, for the most part. I think he's a fucking retard. But I really do admire them for having him on this show, for trying to get a different opinion there and trying to get someone to debate back and forth with TJ a little bit, challenge what he believes.
So, I mean, however it is or not, they've achieved this far reach. They have it. Do you think any of the Drunken Peasants would actually be interested in trying to reach out to people and at least plant this seed in people's heads?
It's
even if, hold on, okay, so even if it's nothing official yet, even if it's not like going out to a new website or starting a new one, like another idea, I forget who initially, it was in the second War Room meeting, somebody brought up the idea and I chimed in also supporting it. And this is what TJ said he would talk to Kyle Kalinske about but never did. But it was the idea of getting a whole lot of these YouTubers together and forming a large enough group that they can then go actually contact YouTube, hopefully actually sit down in a room with some people running YouTube and hash this out, actually talk to them, list their grievances, actually finally have dialogue with YouTube.
That's one of the things I've always said is, for anything to be accomplished, there always needs to be an open dialogue. And YouTube has never had an open dialogue, and that's why they always fucking piss off the content creators. So, yeah, what you advocate for is a very good idea. Now, I think it starts closer to home. One of the things I've been trying to do lately is foster relations with other YouTubers. Basically, what I've been doing is if they have a Discord server, I offer to help them with it. And if they don't have a Discord server, I offer to make them one. And usually that helps me build bonds with individual YouTubers on a personal level. And I extend that to the Drunken Peasants because basically, for all intents and purposes, what I do positively is for the peasants. It's not really for my own personal gain. So
yeah, no, I mean, that's ideally what I'm trying to do here too. Like, I know me and my brother started this whole thing hoping we could eventually, like, at least barely make a living off of this, so we could, like, devote ourselves to this full time, not have to work shitty jobs. But I mean, even if it doesn't lead that way, like, I want this to happen. Like, the whole Adpocalypse thing was really the push I needed to try to start something on YouTube, because no one else was talking about these things that I'm talking about. Nobody had these ideas. This was why I initially tried to reach out.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I think people have had the idea for the longest time. It's just, it goes back to what we were saying earlier, like unrelated, but it works into this where it's like people are just waiting for that other person to do it. You know what I mean?
Somebody's got to be the first then.
Yeah, this is why I was saying I'm so fed up with Americans waiting for the leader that they've already picked to go in the direction that they want them to go. Why don't we just get up and do it ourselves?
Whatever your gripes are, people work the way they work. And if this is exactly how the mentality is going to be, we have to find a way around it. This is exactly why no government is perfect, because all these people that talk about utopias never take into consideration human behavior. You can't waste time sitting around complaining about how people are looking at things, and you got to really just adapt to how it is people operate and make a system that works with people in mind. So as much as we may hate that nobody wants to go out there and be the first to do this, someone has to take it into their hands. And someone has to be the first. Someone that thinks this way, and nobody else is talking about it. And I know at least me and Vincent are fucking nobody, but you know, if it has to be us putting those ideas out, if it has to be us talking to you that starts it all, whatever. Hopefully you can do better than we can do. And you're still there, right? I haven't desynced because nobody's talking but me.
No, I hear what you're saying.
Okay. So, as I've said many times, I don't want to reach. I don't want it to seem like I'm trying to like leech off you or something. But if you ever need help with that shit, reaching out to people and trying to help other YouTubers, trying to plant this seed, I am more than willing to help.
Yeah, that's one thing that we
if only to be an extra pair of hands and an extra mouth.
Yeah, we're reaching out to everybody that we come in contact with. We're building a network to try and build our reach, and we want everybody else to increase their reach too.
Yeah, I know currently we're nobody. I know you don't like that. You have no reason to fully trust me. I only met you a couple months ago, but like you said with managing the Drunken Peasants communities, it's not about personal gain. It's trying to make sure that the community happens and works and is self-sustaining.
Did we lose him?
No, I'm here.
Sorry if I'm dropping bombs on you.
No, it's fine. I'm here.
Feel free to reject me so I can cry into my pillow.
No, I mean, like, I don't know. It's kind of hard for me to, like, when it comes to the whole thing with TJ and, like, the adpocalypse thing. I've learned a lot more from talking to him in particular, because he sees two sides of it, right?
His own and Drunken Peasants.
His own and Drunken Peasants, which one's a larger scale. So he, as TJ Kirk, I'm sure he gets more attention from YouTube. They're more like, because I know like there's people of a certain size that do actually get responses back from YouTube every once in a while, and smaller people, like even people with the Drunken Peasants you wouldn't really consider small, they don't get any attention at all. So TJ's kind of like the inside man for them to talk to YouTube. I would imagine the easiest person for them to contact YouTube with. So I think he's made.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to talk to him. But like he told me, he doesn't want to be the one leading the charge.
I know. It's I don't know who would.
Unfortunate.
I don't know who would be. It would probably probably have to be someone.
I honestly thought it might be Kyle Kalinske.
I was gonna say it's gonna have to be someone who takes a lot of initiative, like Kyle Kalinske, if it's gonna be anyone.
I could see Philip DeFranco being interested in it. I could see Philip DeFranco at least being interested in having the conversation.
I don't even know if I don't know if we're talking hypothetically here, but I don't know if the Drunken Peasants contacts stretch that far.
To who?
Philip DeFranco.
Philip DeFranco.
maybe TJ, but not the peasants. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I don't. I don't. I don't. Man, I wish I could remember because TJ's got an opinion on every big YouTuber. I can't remember what his opinion is on Philip DeFranco though. I think he leans to believe that he's annoying. But
probably, I find him minorly annoying too. But I still like the stuff that he covers.
I agree with that. I don't know. I feel like he's gotten a lot better. Like he used to be a fucking schmuck.
Yeah, I didn't like old Philip DeFranco. I used to be subscribed to him like when I first discovered YouTube, but then I ended up unsubscribing, and then didn't even think about him for years until just a few months ago when I heard about all the shit he was talking about lately. I'm like, wow, when the fuck did Philip DeFranco get all political?
I know. When did he get good? I know. Yeah.
Yeah,
He actually makes some engaging videos, and he's pretty articulate about what he speaks about, and he's not just speaking about dumb bullshit. So I don't know.
some of it is still dumb bullshit, but
back in the day, he just seemed like the king of shill.
Yeah, I can see that. You know, because
Which,
he was like in that same category as like Ray William Johnson, basically.
I mean, Ray William Johnson was highly annoying.
Yeah, I agree.
But, I mean, it's probably... I don't know. Maybe Philip DeFranco was, like, ahead of his time. Because, yeah, like, my opinion back then was that he was the king of shill. But, I mean, like, look who's well off now, right? I mean, with all the YouTube adpocalypse shit, like, he had the foresight fucking years ago to branch out and try to get income outside of just YouTube by selling merchandise. And people might have gotten annoyed that he pimped it every fucking episode, but I mean, at least he was the one to pioneer that shit, right? It's like how everyone hates the prequel Star Wars movies, but like at least they pioneered a lot of technology.
yeah, and also just the stuff that he's covering lately and how many eyes are on him. I don't know if he has a personal contact with Sargon of Akkad, but Sargon actually...
I mean, he's been on a live stream with Sargon.
Oh, okay. Well, Sargon went in and quoted various bits of one of Philip DeFranco's videos on VidCon with the whole thing that went on between Sargon and Anita Sarkeesian.
I'm trying to start a thing where we call her Antifa Sarkeesian.
Oh, wow. That's good.
Anyway, continue.
But yeah, he pointed out that Philip DeFranco's take on the whole thing was probably the most accurate and least judgmental of any YouTuber. Even though he still came out and attacked Anita Sarkeesian because she deserves to be attacked for it, basically. But if there's a contact there, do the peasants or TJ have a contact with Sargon?
He's been on DP before, right? Fancy?
Sargon?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's been on like 3 times. He was just on not too long ago.
I'm sorry, I haven't watched DP in like half a year. I apologize.
Alright.
That's what networking is.
I don't have the time anymore. I used to be able to listen to it at work on the weekends, but now they don't let us be on our phone.
That sucks.
Yeah.
But that's what networking is. If somebody has a contact that can contact somebody else, that's utilizing your network to get a word out. So if we start pushing this YouTube thing here, and if we make an impression,
I mean,
on
I
Fancy,
don't even necessarily want to start with the YouTube thing. I like starting the YouTubers Guild thing first to at least try to get dialogue with YouTube before anyone starts about thinking to jump ship.
Well, also the cool thing with how these websites work.
Nobody's gonna jump like that. Nobody's just gonna be like, yeah, fuck YouTube and jump over. All these people that have massive careers on YouTube, no one's gonna make that their first step. They're going to try to fight first, and if that doesn't work, then they'll consider it. So we cannot pitch NewTube to people.
Well, the cool thing with how these websites work is you can actually do both at the same time. A lot of YouTubers
TJ,
are using, what's that other website called?
VidMe, yeah. TJ was telling me about VidMe. The way it works, if you can get a verified profile on VidMe, you're actually able to just link to your YouTube videos, and it'll automatically rip it from YouTube and upload it for you, so you don't even have to take the time to wait to upload a video. You just post the link and it automates it for you, if you have a verified account.
Yeah,
and that must be a big concern, because I remember I was talking to Repsion, I don't even know how long ago it was now, like 2 fucking months, but I had asked him about VidMe, and he said that he didn't have enough time to upload his videos to 2 websites. So when I came back to him and told him that TJ said that if he contacts him, he would contact VidMe and get Repsion a verified account. He was like all fucking excited about that when I told him that was even an option. So even YouTubers don't even know that that's a function on VidMe.
Wow.
They need to advertise that shit, yeah.
Well, I looked into VidMe a while ago. I remember when you were telling me that's what TJ was looking at. I looked into them, and I read all their features, and it looks pretty good. Basically, it looks like YouTube is starting over.
Yeah, I also, one thing I really like about VidMe is they don't have ads on there, but they have like a tip jar on every video, so people can just pay money directly to the people through VidMe.
Yeah.
I mean, Super Chats basically accomplish the same thing, but those are only for live things. This is just upload a video and people can send you money.
See, here's what I would love to see in a new website, though. If there was a new website where it was geared towards the content creators, there needs to be an actual back and forth contract, not just a terms of service. If there's money exchanged. Yeah. I mean, terms of service and just be a service for just no-names that are just going to be uploading videos and doing nothing after that. The only way to accomplish that is if not anyone can monetize their videos. There would have to be like a screening process, and a live human would actually have to look at these people's channels and confirm that they're a sort of verified channel that's allowed to monetize. Which I think is how YouTube used to work, right? How it had that partner system way back when. That's fine. And I think the partner system, if that's how it worked back then, that should be how it's always been. But I can hear the excuse right now, well, YouTube got too big and we weren't able to handle it, so we automated it. And I've always been one that says, if your business grows, grow with your business. I don't know. I kind of like the automated system because it lets anyone monetize on their videos. Otherwise, you're gonna have bias if you have to be like confirmed by a live person. Okay. You're gonna get like Twitter, where they just fucking outright just block right-wing people. I mean, I may not agree with them, but they don't deserve to be deplatformed. Well, okay, if you have something I feel like I have to keep asking if Fancy is there.
I'm here. I'm listening to you guys.
Okay. If you're getting too busy, you can let us know when it is you want us to wrap this up. I know we've been talking for a while now.
Yeah, we've been going.
No, sorry. I'll be around for a bit. I'll be around for a bit longer. But yeah, just whenever you guys feel the conversation's dying down is really probably the most natural time to do it.
All right. All right. That's cool.
Yeah, I've just been one where if you do automate things, that's fine. As long as you don't let the automation take over where you start kicking people out or rejecting people, things like that. Things like YouTube is doing now. And I forget who covered the story a little while ago. It was a week or two ago. Somebody made an update to all this, saying that they're actually going to be going back into different channels that are being demonetized and looking at them and making sure that they're verified news sources, but it was all very vague, and it wasn't clear who or what would be considered a verified news source.
Verified news sources. Oh, that's just a nice way to say not fake news, huh?
The thing about verification on all these fucking websites is really petty and ridiculous, I've noticed. YouTube does it better than Twitter, but Twitter's by far the worst offender because they verifying people is just a badge of we like you. That's all it is on Twitter. And TJ still hasn't been verified again. Like I get why they removed it after he rebranded, because he wasn't the Amazing Atheist anymore. But why haven't they added it back? He's got 1 million subscribers, and they give it to people who have way less. Even if he only accounted for the subscribers that he got after his rebranding, he would still have enough to fucking get that verification. So
I don't know, because it's Twitter. That's really the only answer I can offer. I lost all potential faith in Twitter the moment they did their little trust and safety council and put Antifa Sarkeesian on it.
Yeah,
I hate Twitter.
I hate it too. It's like there are plenty of people, plenty of journalists who have under maybe about 2,000 followers or something on Twitter. Then you have Sargon of Cod who has like 250 times that, and he's not verified.
250 times 2,000?
No, like one. I meant like was thinking like 1,000. So he's like 250K or something like that. I think, I don't know, but yeah, it's pretty comparable to the size of his YouTube channel. But yeah, I don't. It's a bunch of bullshit, because like he pointed out in one of his videos too, like, well, I'm kind of the person who needs to be verified the most because there's tons of parody accounts out there who are just, you know, taking a shit on Sargon and everything. Isn't the point of the verification badge to be like, oh, this person's the real one? Yeah. And not only that, it makes me go back to the Milo thing. They unverified him. Suddenly he's not Milo Yiannopoulos anymore.
I know, right? Like if you're gonna go after someone, have the balls to ban them. Don't just unverify them. Yeah, like you said, what? Suddenly he's just not Milo Yiannopoulos anymore? Suddenly, after all this time, they think it's somebody stealing his identity? That's just petty.
I haven't even looked into.
Yeah, it is really ridiculous.
I haven't even looked into what goes into getting verified on Twitter. I've thought about it a little bit, but I haven't actually gone in to try and become verified yet.
I mean, no, you need to have some following before they'd even consider it, I'm sure.
I think it's kind of ridiculous that following is required, because I've seen stuff that's just absolutely ridiculous on Twitter that has thousands upon thousands of followers.
I mean, to each their own. I mean, your definition of ridiculous might be someone else's definition of hilarious.
That is true. Let's see, Armored Skeptic has 96,500 followers. Not verified.
Seriously?
Yep. Chew on Head is also not verified. She has 166,000 followers.
I really want to see a verified ISIS account.
Well, they verify all the BLM accounts and all the Antifa accounts, so, you know, I mean, maybe one day. Maybe one day. But yeah, no, seriously, they verify the Antifa accounts. Just saying.
I mean, that's, yeah, like, BLM, Antifa, that's right up their alley.
An actual, like, largely terrorist group like Antifa. Okay. Okay, Twitter, whatever. Like,
Oh. Sugar Tits
it's
and
fucking
Bearing are
ridiculous
also
when you
not
think
verified.
about it. Yeah, they should be, because they have enough followers to justify it.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. Well, Bearing has just under 70,000. Sugar Tits has 35,000.
I would say anyone with at least like somewhere between 5 and 10,000 is deserving.
Yeah, let's see if I can find just some random person that is verified.
Yeah, I bet you could find some random nobody fucking blue-haired feminist that has it.
Random, nobody, blue-haired feminist.
Search that.
Should I put that into the search bar?
Jesus Christ.
I would say search to see if Steve Shives is verified, but he's probably already blocked the verified icon itself.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, all in all, though, I think this is a very volatile time for YouTube, where there's a lot of questions up in the air, and people are trying to get things settled and trying to really reestablish themselves in a way, like, all independent from needing to just rely on YouTube. These independent content creators who once described themselves solely as YouTubers, I don't think they're just going to call themselves YouTubers anymore. They're going to identify in a different type of way. And it's going to have to do with using all facets of the internet.
Yeah, I mean,
services like
a lot of
Patreon to their
people,
fullest.
I've already noticed a lot of people just calling themselves content creators instead
Exactly.
of YouTubers.
Exactly. And why would you want to associate yourself solely with a website that's fucked over the content creators at pretty much every turn? And how can you not say that when the content creators are the only reason YouTube makes money anyway? They should be trying to cater to these people at least a little bit, so they can make the most of the best content.
That's just it. They don't actually care because their prime amount of viewership does not come from YouTubers. It comes from like one-hit wonder videos, like babies, cats, or music videos. That's their prime viewership. Like in sum total, that's what's getting all the hits.
I'd be
This
very
this is probably why they made YouTube Music.
And
Yeah.
YouTube Gaming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd be very interested to see the numbers on the independent content creators that basically live on YouTube, what their contribution to YouTube actually is in, like, a percentage. Like, how bad would it hurt YouTube if they left?
Who do you think we could get those statistics from?
YouTube. That's the only one that I could think.
Yeah, but I mean, like, where to look for that?
I doubt that number is even public.
Probably be difficult to determine even by them, but maybe not. Because if that happened, it would be very up. No one expects that to actually happen. I don't think anyone's actually banking on that to happen. So if it actually did, it'd be fucking crazy.
Banking on what exactly to happen?
Banking on people to actually leave YouTube and try to establish something else.
Yeah. See, this is why I was saying that can't be the first step. I really think the first good step is to try to reach out to a bunch of YouTubers and get them to join some sort of group. TJ really seemed to like the term trade guild.
A union. It'd basically be a union.
He for some reason did not want the term union. He said it's not an actual union, and I told him it's basically a union in all but like actual legal status.
Yep.
But no, he said trade guild sounded cool.
Trade guild.
Trade guild. So fine, the YouTuber trade guild, or If we are getting away from the term YouTuber, we can go the Jack's Film route and just have everyone identify as some asshole talking to a camera.
When I heard that, it's like kind of like a larger scale version of what I did with the Drunken Peasants fan community, where basically I got all these fan communities like in this example, replace fan communities with like YouTubers. I got all these fan communities together. I united them under one cause, and we keep in contact with each other, so that we're always like held accountable for things, and that we like speak with each other and communicate, so that we don't like make ourselves look like assholes. Having someone there to like,
I think it's really hard to not make DP fans look like assholes.
I've done a decent job, don't you think?
I mean, you don't look like an asshole, but the generic run-of-the-mill DP fan?
Sure.
I don't know.
Sure. And I think
chats are always volatile.
I think DP fans embrace that stigma, to be honest. So.
Yeah, and that's kind of... Sometimes it's a problem. Like, I remember in one of the war rooms, I was asking TJ if he thought that actually causes problems because they can never tell what's legitimate feedback and what's trolling. And he said, oh, hell yeah.
Oh, I imagine so. Especially with the subreddit, dude. Like, there are people who go on there...
Is the subreddit just blowing up?
Oh, there's like people who like parody, like, there's people who parody the complainers. And then there's people who parody the people who parody the complainers. And then there's people who parody the people who parody... You know where I'm going with this, basically. It's an unending fucking loop.
It's parodyception.
Yeah. Just trying to make a satire of the last post. It's fucking ridiculous. That subreddit's ridiculous. I own that subreddit, and I think it's like one of the worst places on the internet. So, you heard it here first, folks. But yeah.
Yeah, you heard it here. Fancy hates you all.
Yeah. Go to the Discord instead. There's better shit going on there.
Papa Fancy despises your ass.
But yeah, I don't know. I think there's definitely a lot of potential for that type of thing.
Was that you trying to pimp the Discord?
Not really. But
we should pimp the Discord.
Discord.gg/DP if anyone wants to join. No, it's a cool place. So.
It is. I mean, I don't really tend to hang out in the general chat, honestly. Sometimes I do.
Yeah. I tend to give people I like the Pleasure Squad role, so I've gotten a couple people
I'm touched.
Stay around more because of that.
I'm glad you like me.
Well, you show up to pretty much all the war room meetings.
I've shown up to every war room meeting, and I've shown up to more than TJ.
Wow, you should never let him live that down. Like, never let him live it down.
This is why I refer to myself as the Lieutenant General.
I've probably got to wrap some stuff up around here soon.
All right, sorry.
Yeah, it's been really nice talking to you guys.
Yeah, this has been great.
Yeah, thank you for coming and talking to us about this.
Oh, no problem, dude. If you guys ever want to talk to me again for a while, or about any type of other subject, if you have something you really just want to talk about with me, or I'd be happy to join you guys.
Yeah, thank you.
No problem. Happy to join you guys. Really.
Do you, again, not to reach too much, do you think you might be able to reach out to Paul and try to set something there up?
Sure. Look,
because you were saying not only that he would know much more about the analytics and shit, but that he wants that globalism rant, I'm sure.
So yeah, that's what I definitely want to get. Paul's not like he doesn't really handle the business side of the Drunken Peasants, but I can talk to him about giving you guys some insight. He knows better than me, obviously. So, but yeah, I'll talk to him about that.
Who's the primary handler of that? Just out of curiosity, that Ben?
Just the other three guys. I'll just leave it at that. The other three guys take care of most of that type of stuff on their own. Oh. And how they take care of it's really their business. I'd rather.
Yeah, no, they've said that before, that they're not going to discuss the specifics, whatever.
Yeah, I can say that. Those three guys, they take care of all that stuff together.
Yeah, okay. I mean, I guess it does make sense that Paul would be less involved. He was
he came in
the
later.
last one to join, yeah.
Yeah. And he has his own deal of responsibilities, like he helps me with the fan communities and all that stuff.
I've been watching since before Scotty was even a regular.
So like episode 2?
Well, he was a recurring guest for a long time.
Yeah, they never actually were like, Scotty's officially a host now.
Yeah,
I think the best determining time is when they actually got a Scotty cam. I think that was like...
Yeah.
Because if they're gonna put him on like the branding of the overlay and everything, then he's officially a part of the show, I think. So that's kind of how I see it.
Yeah, and like the new intro they have, even though they don't say it, there is the and Scotty text.
And they show Scotty Cena instead of Scotty, but yeah.
I mean, it has Scotty's face on it.
Yeah, it's close enough.
Close enough. But yeah, I'm really.
I don't know, like, when it comes to the Drunken Peasants community, there's just so many conversations that can break out, and like, honestly, we could probably be here like all fucking night if we wanted to be, but we got to keep this to like some reasonable amount of time so people can digest it.
I probably got to get to sleep in the next hour, so.
Yeah, and there's always next time too.
Yeah, this has already gone on like 2 hours.
I know, it's fucking crazy.
We just passed an hour and 40.
Nice.
I'm surprised you stuck with us for 2 hours and are still saying you want to talk to us more.
Well, I mean, dude, Billy the Fridge stayed with the peasants for 24 hours, so the least I can give you guys.
But I mean, when I started watching that stream, he was asleep. So
you know what was amazing about that?
He was just asleep on camera, and people were saying he looked like a crucified Jesus because of his headband.
Yeah, he fell asleep. Like I think he took like a 20-minute, maybe 10-minute, closer to that, like somewhere in between that. He took a nap like 4 or 5 times throughout the show. And you know what the best thing was? Like every time he woke up, he was like bam, bam, right out there with like some really like good material. Like he made me laugh.
Yeah, I mean, I saw him like groggily wake up, and he just kind of sat there for a while with his eyes open. But then all of a sudden, he just jumped in and started like pulling the conversation.
Shit. Like if I fell asleep the first time, I'd be like, you know what, Paul, I gotta head back to the hotel room. Thanks for having me. And dude, no one would have faulted him for that. But he stayed the entire fucking time.
Did you ever actually appear on the stream?
Yeah, I did. I was for the last. I actually spent a full 2 hours to the end of the stream on there.
The last 2 hours?
Yeah, the last 2 hours I'm on there.
All right. Well, I mean, I'll finally get around to watching that whenever the hell YouTube processes it.
Yeah. So here's my thoughts. Based on how it is right now, YouTube's just not gonna. They're just gonna have to upload the version that they recorded, unfortunately. Because taking this long, my initial thought process is, oh, it's just gonna take 8 times as long as the average Drunken Peasants episode, right?
Well, they said I think they posted on Facebook a picture, a screenshot of the processing thing. They had said that most, like all of their uploads, take as long to process as the episode was, but it's already been well over a day.
Yes, definitely. And yeah, that's the really concerning thing about that. Okay, little piece of insider information that I'm fine to tell you. I wouldn't say it.
I mean, remember, this is fully public.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm fine to tell you this. I was like, guys, you should really try and split this into maybe like 8-hour or 12-hour increments. So that way, in case there's an issue like this, you guys can just be like, oh, at least we have part 1 up, you know? And even if it takes a long time for part 2 to go up, then you'll at least have part 1
I totally thought they would do that when they ported it over to Paul's phone. But they just kept the stream continuous.
They found a way to do it, but
they started streaming from a cell phone.
Yeah, they started the stream on the computer, but they were able to transfer it over to Paul's cell phone and then back, all without breaking the stream.
Interesting.
Here's what they did. Paul started a separate stream on his phone. They went to the computer. They pulled up the stream Paul was doing. It sounds pretty ghetto, but it actually ended up pretty good. And then they full screened.
They just streamed Paul's
on his
stream?
phone.
That is genius.
They streamed Paul's stream.
That's funny.
So wait, is Paul's stream public?
You know what?
Or did he delete it?
Okay, so here's the really weird fucking thing. I looked up, down, and fucking everywhere for that stream, right? Couldn't find it.
Oh, maybe maybe it was unlisted and they followed a link.
Yeah, and I know it was unlisted because I know it was on the Drunken Peasants channel because you know that little logo that I have a little logo made for them that they have in the corner of all their episodes now where it shows like the DP.
Yeah. Yeah.
I did that exactly for a situation like this. I know if Paul's streaming on Ideology, I know if he's streaming on Drunken Peasants, I know if he's streaming on whatever. He was streaming on Drunken Peasants, it must have been an unlisted stream because I couldn't find it. And if I can't find it, no one can.
You did this specifically so you could know exactly where they were streaming from? Fucking stalker.
No. Well, yes, but no. It's really, how do I put this? It's a failsafe if people try to steal their content. People know.
Ah.
Yeah.
Smart.
Yeah. Just like TV networks, like Nickelodeon puts their like little. I don't know if they do this anymore. Yeah. I don't know if they do this anymore. They used to though. They put their little logo, like.
Oh, I'm sure they do.
Semi-transparent in the corner.
TV channels always do that.
Yeah, they always do. I don't think they've stopped doing that. So.
There's no reason to.
Yeah, I even have our Amethyst Arts logo here in the corner of our live stream.
Yeah, YouTube's made it very easy for that to happen automatically. Man, for the longest time it was a problem because I thought that we were gonna have to like put it actually slate it over the video. But then like very shortly after that, YouTube was like, yeah, you guys can add it yourself because they came out with they replaced annotations with cards, and when that happened, then they brought in those like little logos. It's very nice actually.
Those were annoying for a really long time on phones, but I think they kind of fixed how they work.
Yeah. You know what I'm really like happy with YouTube's outro. Like no, it's like I think they call it like end credit cards or something like that. But
yeah, the end cards. Yeah, like that. Like they automatically have like recommended videos.
Yeah. Well, it's actually not automatic. You can.
Isn't one?
Wait, what's that?
Doesn't it show like 2 videos? One you can link to, and one is whatever the algorithm chooses.
So you have a total of like 4 doohickeys to put. I don't know how else to put it.
Doohickeys.
Like 4 little modules that you can.
We say Chingus.
Okay, those 4 little chingus that you can add to the end of the video. So like and like you're limited by 4. So like one's like you can advertise another channel. You can advertise people subscribe to your account. One's you can put up a video you've uploaded, and the other ones you can put up a video that someone else has uploaded. And I think there's a couple other options there too that I'm forgetting, but those are the main ones that people use. And for the Drunken Peasants, because they're going to be doing the slayed out things, I already have an outro ready for it and everything, a nice animation. We're going to be doing the one where it's like, oh, subscribe here. And then I'll be like, here's another of their side channels if you're interested. In the right side, I'll have the most recent video. And in the left side, I'll have like a Rage Feed video or a Ideology video, or whatever channel I'm advertising. Like whatever side channel I'm going to put plug at the end of the video. Like for example, like for one episode, I might be like, oh, go check out Ideology. And the next one I might be like, oh, go check out Rage Feed if they have something that night or whatever.
I think it's funny that we've been like talking shit about YouTube for nearly 2 hours, and you're ending this on a note of, something I really like that YouTube does.
Yeah, their tooling is amazing.
Yeah, they've got some really nice that video editor, man. Wow, gee willikers, I can't fiddlesticks. What an amazing video editing program.
Is this your egghead impression? Sorry, egghead beta.
Yeah, my egghead beta. Unfortunately, some people aren't going to get that reference at all who are watching this, but no.
Well, let's hope some people watch this then.
Yeah, it's entertaining, guys. It's entertaining. I promise.
Well, man, it was good having you on here. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot for.
I really hope we can do this again. This is great.
Yeah, likewise, guys. Really nice talking to you guys. Like I said, I'm always just send me a message if you want me to come on again. I'd be happy to join you.